Hello, beings of light. Today you will learn about Mary's experience. She has always had mystical dreams with non-human beings since childhood, and as an adult, she had an NDE where these beings appeared. Shall we hear her story? When I was a child, I dreamed of very different people. In my dreams, I saw sequences of letters and numbers, mathematical equations, and I also saw equipment that didn't exist here yet. Many years later, during surgery, I had a near-death experience. My name is Mary Lucia. I am a teacher from the state of Sao Paulo, and I worked for 30 years in the classroom. Since I was young, I always dreamed a lot. It seemed very real, very true, and I always told my parents that I dreamed of people who looked different from us, in different situations. They always said it was childish fantasy. They never had an explanation for my questions, so I ended up alone with this knowledge and the new things that came to me. I drew a lot, and those drawings were a way for me to express all those messages I lived in my dreams. There were many questions about mathematics, lots of engineering that, at the time, I couldn't explain. I asked my mother, "Why is the sky like this? What is there beyond this sky?" She said that beyond the sky there was nothing. I replied, "No, you're wrong. Beyond this sky there is another sky, and another sky, and another sky." For me, all of this was very real. I wanted to know what was beyond the sky and why fire combusts. My dream was to be among the stars. I lived in the south of Santa Catarina. I was born in Laguna. My parents didn't have the chance to study, so they didn't know how to respond or explain these things to me. The dreams began when I was about 6 years old and continued throughout my childhood and adolescence, always with a lot of information. But as there was no one to believe me or discuss these matters, I kept it to myself. I only told my sisters. I remember dreaming a lot about friends who I thought were Japanese because they were very different from other people I knew. When I dreamed, I went to a well, which I called that because it was a circle on the ground where I put my head, and they put their heads too. That's how we communicated. They taught me many things, and I called them Japanese because they were short like me, and they had large almond-shaped eyes. Throughout my life, I dreamed of them and missed them when I didn't dream. Later, I began to dream of taller beings. When these beings appeared, I was already about 17 or 18 years old. They looked like us in appearance but were very tall, always dressed in white or bluish robes. During the dreams, they took me to observe engineering constructions in hangars, very large structures that looked like spaceships. They explained everything mathematically, and I understood everything at the moment. They seemed to be the masters, the teachers. These beings had an appearance similar to ours, but almost 3 meters tall. They always wore white or bluish robes. Sometimes it was possible to notice the difference between men and women, but not always. They seemed to be middle-aged. I wasn't sure. I always dreamed of many surgeries, mixing human and robotic parts, explaining that this resulted in our biological body. They showed me that everything was a combination of biological and mechanical parts. I was terrified, thinking I was going crazy. It was more than science fiction. I was afraid to tell people, so I kept it to myself. Later, I watched a movie called Intruders, which showed exactly what I had dreamed of since childhood. It was a turning point in my life, and I began to research more about these beings and what was real. In the movie, the woman goes through similar experiences to mine, including physical exams and encounters with different beings. In 2000, I became pregnant with my first daughter, Mariana. In 2003, I decided to have another child, but the pregnancy was an embryonic. During the curettage, I had a near-death experience. After taking the anesthesia, I was transported to another place, full of light and people. I was received by a tall being who accompanied me through a corridor of light. I was warmly welcomed by many beings, both human and those shorter and taller, who seemed to be waiting for me. They hugged me and greeted me telepathically. I felt at home, comfortable, and happy. But suddenly, I remembered my daughter, Mariana, who was 3 years old. I told them I needed to return to take care of her. They understood and calmed me. I began to return, and passing through a tunnel of light, I woke up in my body, hearing the voices of the nurses. I had no complications during the surgery. Seeing those beings in the NDE, I realized they were the same as in my dreams. I understood that these dreams were mystical experiences. They told me I should study spirituality. The dreams showed me that everything is mathematics and that this is not magical or supernatural, but something we can understand with spiritual evolution. The NDE expanded my vision and made me feel connected to greater knowledge. They showed me that time is elastic and that they can move forward or backward in time. I had dreams where I saw my life from birth to adolescence. In one of the dreams, I was taken to an arid and red planet, where they showed me there had once been a lot of water and life there. These beings were rescuing things from Earth, like water and plants, to rebuild elsewhere. I never saw this as something negative. They also examined me physically to collect genetic material. Once a woman brought a child who I thought was my future daughter. These beings always treated me with kindness and showed me I was part of something greater. The near-death experience was transformative for me. During the surgery, as soon as the anesthesia took effect, I felt transported to another place. A place full of light, where I seemed to float. Everything was very clear and real. I was guided by a tall being who looked like an older woman with white hair, and she led me through a corridor of light. I remember feeling a sense of love and welcome that I had never felt before. It was like I was returning home, a place where I had always belonged. As we walked, I saw many people along the corridor. Some looked human, others were the short beings I dreamed of in childhood, and others were the tall beings that appeared in my adolescent dreams. They were all there to greet me, hug me, and greet me telepathically. I felt at home, at peace, and completely loved. This feeling of belonging was overwhelming. While there, I began to remember my daughter, Mariana, who was only 3 years old at the time. The memory of Mariana brought back my awareness that I had responsibilities in the physical plane. I told the woman guiding me that I needed to return to take care of my daughter. She understood and comforted me, saying everything would be fine. With her help, I started to return through the tunnel of light. I felt like I was sliding, as if I were on a light toboggan, until I woke up in the operating room. When I woke up, I heard the nurses commenting that I was taking a long time to wake up from the anesthesia. I couldn't move or speak, but I knew I was back in my body. It was a relief to hear the reassuring voice of the woman telling me to calm down, that I would soon be able to move. When I finally managed to speak and move, I felt great relief and gratitude. This experience made me understand that the dreams I had since childhood were not mere fantasies, but mystical and spiritual experiences. The beings I saw in my dreams were guiding and helping me throughout my life. They showed me that everything is mathematics, that the universe is organized, and that there is a structure behind everything. This made me realize that we are not alone and that there is much more beyond what we can see and understand with our limited senses. The experience also taught me the importance of gratitude. During my recovery, I began to be grateful for everything in my life, from the small things to the big blessings. I realized that gratitude opens doors to spiritual experiences and deeper connections with the universe. Over time, I began to better understand the importance of caring for our planet and living in harmony with nature. The beings showed me that they are here to help and guide us, but also to rescue things from Earth, like water and plants, to rebuild elsewhere. This made me understand the importance of preserving our planet and living sustainably. My mission, as I understand it now, is to help spread love, harmony, and knowledge. As a teacher, I always strove to teach my students the importance of living in peace and love with one another. I try to be an example of positivity and resilience, even in the most challenging situations. I faced many challenges in life, including cancer, but I always maintained a positive attitude and an unwavering faith that everything would be okay. The near-death experience made me realize that we are all part of something greater. We are light, and we have the capacity to spread this light to others. We must be grateful for the opportunity to be here, share our knowledge, and build a better world. We need to take care of our planet and live in harmony with it. This is the message I want to leave for everyone. Live with gratitude, love, and harmony, and take care of our planet for future generations. Gratitude has become an essential part of my life. During my recovery, I began to thank for everything, from the small things to the big ones. I realized that gratitude opens doors to spiritual experiences and deeper connections with the universe. This is my message. Thank life, spread love and harmony, and take care of the planet. We are all part of something greater, and we must work together for a better future. Thank you very much for staying until the end of the video. I invite you to subscribe and share this video with those you care about. I hope these videos bring hope to many people. Thank you, and see you next time.